Yeah. Jeb Bush was asked at a forum that was sponsored by the Des Moines Register whether he supports reauthorizing the Voting Rights Act. This, by the way, passed the Senate unanimously, what, just 5 years ago, or thereabouts? It was during the Bush administration. Take a look at Jeb Bush's response.
I think that if it's to reauthorize it to continue to provide regulations on top of states as though we were living in 1960, because those were basically when many of those rules were put in place, I don't believe that we should do that. There's been dramatic improvement in access to voting. I mean, exponentially better improvement. And I don't think there's a role for the federal government to play in most places. There could be some, but in most places where they did have a constructive role in the 60s. So I don't support reauthorizing it as is.
And here's Paul Weyrich explaining the real reason Republicans don't want to reauthorize the Voting Rights Act.
Now, many of our Christians have what I call the goo-goo syndrome. Good government. They want everybody to vote. I don't want everybody to vote. Elections are not won by a majority of people. They never have been from the beginning of our country, and they are not now. As a matter of fact, our leverage in the elections, quite candidly, goes up as the voting populace goes down.
So isn't it the real reason that Republicans don't want to reauthorize the Voting Rights Act?
Not at all, and let's be honest, that was a mischaracterization of his comments. He said at the end, as is. Here's why. Republicans have concerns about the federal government telling states how they can...
Before. It was 96-0 when this was reauthorized.
I think there's always been concerns about the federal government deciding that Texas can't implement their voting laws.
Why did every Republican in the Senate vote for it?
I think the Voting Rights Act is going to be reauthorized. There are just going to be some tweaks around the edges, I think.
Let's put Section 4 back into it.
To basically to acknowledge that the country is a better union now than it was in 1960.
You're saying this 3 days after Alabama just closed the DMV offices in every single county in the state that has more than 75% African-American population. Every single one. A year after they passed a law requiring a driver's license to vote.
And we've had this conversation before. In many Republicans' minds, there's nothing wrong with asking people to show ID to vote because you show ID at every other step in your life, going into a federal building.
A lot of people don't actually.
Well, I mean, look, limiting people from being able to vote is definitely a partisan issue. You have Republicans on a state level and on a federal level now completely opposed to making it easier for people to vote, where you have Democrats trying to make it easier for people to vote. So I think Paul Weyrich, in the same way that Kevin McCarthy did a few weeks ago, accidentally told the truth about what's going on.
Isn't that funny? I mean, I'm the only minority here, so I'll answer that question. Every 10 years, I hear this bull crap about, oh, well, if you don't go out and vote, they're not going to authorize the Voters' Rights Act. Okay? It's a scare tactic. Okay? We're hearing this crap. You need an ID. I'm a damn veteran. I go and get my benefits from VA. I got to show an ID. I go into a bank, I got to show an ID. I go into my credit union, which I own, I got to show an ID. I get blood, I got to show an ID. All of a sudden now, magically, if I show an ID to vote, it's racism.
But there's 300,000 African Americans in Alabama who do not have ID.
I lived in Alabama. I was married in Alabama. You
know what I'm talking about.
Right, you're
talking about rural poor people and urban poor people.
I could go anywhere in Alabama, get an ID. I could go anywhere, get a driver's license. Why in Pennsylvania can I file online, in Maryland, file online, renew my license basically? Yeah. Okay, here we go. What's the status?
Oh, this is, we've been looking at this for a long time. This is nationwide. This is from the Brennan Center. And the percentage of adults without a valid photo ID.
25%
of African Americans who are over 18
come on,
in the United
come on
States.
now, Tom. It's not. You need a daggone license to get on a bus. You need a license to cash a check. You need a license to ride the rails. And you're telling me that 25% of African Americans don't have an ID?
I'm saying that there's a lot of people who don't own a car.
It says a valid without a valid photo ID.
Correct.
Okay.
Your
Nothing
argument
about driver's license.
Your argument is not with me. It's with the Brennan Center. But actually the DMVs that all got closed in Alabama's more than 75% African-American neighborhoods, they issue not only driver's licenses, they also issue the state ID card. And they're closed now. Closed until the election.
Closed until
for the next
election.
year and 3 months, they're going to be closed.
This has become a gotcha question for Republicans that mainstream media people always want to ask a Republican because it can in any way be misinterpreted or interpreted to make that person
Well, it's a reason
sound
it's
bad.
become that way, though, because Republicans have openly bragged how voter ID laws will help them win elections. So it's something that they have to.
Oh,
Senator
you
from
mean like
Pennsylvania?
Democrats brag if we run out to black communities and tell them the Voters' Right Act won't be renewed, oh, they'll vote for us in mass. Or tell them that somehow the government, okay, you're going to lose your right to vote. I remember doing, excuse me, so let me finish my point.
Go for it.
Okay, I remember doing the Bush-Gore run-up. Oh, well, if you don't go out and vote, you won't be able to walk down the street. You'll be slaves again. What did Joe Biden say? They want to put y'all back in chains again.
Really?
Yeah, didn't he say it?
I don't remember, frankly. You got me. You got me blithering. I don't have no, but I believe you, Kevin. I absolutely do. Brian Pruitt, Sam Sachs, Kevin Martin, great to have you all with us. Kevin, you get the last word. Thank you so much.